All right, YouTube, not all of the info is in on this latest police shooting in Minnesota. Of course, Philandro Castile. From what I'm seeing, though, it seems like a pretty clear-cut case. Now, there will be some on the alt-right. There are thousands of them on my channel. Please try to hear me out before you judge exactly why I'm going to say what I'm going to say, what the title of the video is. I know the inclination is automatically to assume, well, you know, black dude gets shot by the cops are blameless. But I would class that as being roughly akin to when somebody who's like the Occupy or Black Lives Matter activist or something, the second that a person who's black gets shot by a police officer, even if amusingly the officer is Asian, not actually white, as I believe is the case here, that it's automatic racism. It couldn't have been a criminal offense. It had to do with race. I'm going to point out, though, my libertarian perspective here. Carrying a firearm is not illegal in this country. It's just like the Tamir Rice shooting. When the Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, all these other names came forward, the last time the media went haywire over black people being shot by the police, I said we can't simply lump them all together as being somebody who's black got shot and say that the situation is, the same in all of these cases. It's not the case that in every example of this happening, the cop is responsible. It's also not the case that the individual who was shot was always responsible. For instance, Tamir Rice was a 13-year-old kid. He was playing with a fake gun. He was breaking no law. There was no reason specifically that the police should have really gotten involved in the first place. Supposedly, they're in a bad neighborhood plagued by crime. And so why would they just randomly drive up to somebody like this and start harassing them from the get-go? They got no call. They received no criminal complaint that a person was waving a gun around. In this case, we have an issue where a person who was armed and apparently let the officer know, hey, I'm legally armed, I've got my permit here, I've got a gun, was reaching for his wallet, supposedly, and got gunned down. And then, of course, the girlfriend live-streamed it on Facebook. I think that was a little bit odd, although I'm assuming that the reasoning behind that is police accountability, and the police officers like going haywire in the background, put your hands on the wheel, and fucking, I told him not to reach for anything, and just swearing and so forth. I have to assume, based on a rudimentary understanding of humanity, that in many cases you do get unhinged cops, and I think this is probably a case where this is one of them. Now, there was another shooting the day before. In that case, it does appear that the individual is reaching for his pocket. Now, I think jury's still out on whether there was a gun on him, because in the video I saw, I didn't see any gun retrieved from his pocket. I saw him take like keys out or something like that, something way too small to be a gun, not even like a Saturday night special. However, if you're being pinned by the police and you reach for your pocket, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get shot, whether lethally or not, or at least beaten into the pavement. So I can reserve judgment there. I think we have to wait for an investigation. In this latter case, though, it seems like the person was shot for having a gun. Now, having a gun, again, is not illegal. Having a concealed weapon is not illegal, whether you're black or white. All I see is an American got gunned down for exercising their Second Amendment rights. I really don't care about the race of the person who got shot. Just like I really don't give a fuck about the race of the cops. The media does the greatest disservice when black person gets shot by a cop. Now, if it's a white person, they don't say anything. It's, police shooting. And it stays like second page local news. Black person gets shot by an officer, unless that officer is black, and even then sometimes, it's front page news all over the world. Crime, epidemic of police on black crime, which isn't actually the case. The police kill more white people than they kill black people. I get tired of the race baiting from the media, but I get equally tired of people seeking to automatically exonerate the police officer simply because the person shot was black. It's the same bullshit to me. A person has an inalienable right to carry a firearm in this country. I don't care how fucking liberal and retarded your state is. Your right to carry a firearm does not hinge upon the state government issuing a goddamn permit. But this is an individual who had a permit anyway. I don't give a fuck about states' rights in this little schema. The federal court of California can rant all day about states being able to crack down on this. It's completely overruled by McDonald versus Chicago, which in turn completely overruled the segregation era bullshit of Crookshank, or the Jim Crow era, rather. The Second Amendment is absolute. You have a right to carry a weapon. The police cannot simply gun you down for holding a weapon or suspecting you of having a weapon or concealed carrying a weapon or reaching for your pocket in such a way that they think you might be about to draw a weapon. Preemptively shooting somebody is itself a form of attempted murder. I would hold police to the same goddamn standards that I would hold any other two people in an interaction. If I stop you on the street and ask for a smoke and you reach for your fucking pocket and I say, oh shit, maybe he's got a gun in there, and I blow you away, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to get thrown in prison for murder or attempted murder or assault with a deadly weapon, or depending on the outcome of what happens when I shoot at you. Why the hell wouldn't we hold officers to the same exact standard? They're just citizens like anybody else. The government can't magically give them more rights and make a whole different class of people just because it says, oh, well, they're going to protect and serve. That's not the fucking way the Constitution works. Go back to just having fucking constables and stuff like that, and do away with the very idea of metro police forces altogether, and the crime wave that is in some of these places will probably fall away by the wayside. I'm going to take the Rand Paul approach here. I don't give a fuck about race at all when it comes to this sort of thing. This is just a person. Listen, to those on the alt-right, again, you may not like what I'm saying here, but if you denigrate the rights of individuals based on, oh, well, had a criminal record or was black or, just looked drunk or something at the time, and you say, well, obviously if they have a weapon, then the cops have a right to just blast them away for no reason, you're extending that same right that you've just gifted to an authoritarian government to attack white people too. Now, funnily enough, some of these people are the same folks that worry about like martial law and FEMA camps. I would think you would want to keep such rights out of the hands of government. You probably don't even live in a mixed race community. Most of the time you live in a homogenous community. And again, I will say the one thing they're getting right, this officer I believe was like Chinese immigrant or something like that. This is not a white individual. This was an Asian officer. When it's a black officer killing a black person, they talk about police brutality. When it's a white officer, they assume it's like Ku Klux Klan racism. Anything else, they attempt to conflate them as white. I remember the Zimmerman case. Oh, he's a white Hispanic. Now, that's a term that they used to take, and anybody using the term white Hispanic, they'd say, no, you're not white and Hispanic, you're just Hispanic. Take it, so be Hispanic pride person. Don't call yourself white, because then you're like those evil racists over there. But the second that a person who killed a young black kid, black male, for attacking him and trying to kill him, no less, he's a white Hispanic. So there's race baiting on every goddamn side in this, but this dude probably didn't deserve to be shot. It's just fucking retarded. The funny part is the cop was like going haywire because the dying of this person was being live streamed. I don't think that he quite expected that to happen. I'm surprised he didn't blow away the girlfriend when she reached for her phone, honestly. But I don't believe that any of these that this video shows what happened before, so we can't necessarily know. But obviously, most of it's been sort of live broadcast to millions of people, and it is a shame that there are people who think either because he was black, he had to have been doing absolutely nothing wrong. Cop is automatically responsible, or people who think, well, the cop is automatically exonerated because cop. That's not the way the goddamn world works. There are people hiding behind uniforms that are complete sadists, and then there are people who get shot that have done nothing wrong. There are also people who get shot who fucking totally deserved it in the situation, and plenty of police officers that just want to fucking do their job, and they hope every day when they go out they don't have to reach for their gun. So I can kind of sympathize with both sides. You have to take it situationally. You can't just say in every case that falls into this arbitrarily crafted category that one side or the other is automatically exonerated. It just doesn't make sense to do that. But from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't look like the dude deserve to be shot. It looks like his only crime was happening to have a concealed weapon and then reaching for his ID when asked to get his ID out. If that's the case, it's a clear-cut case where his constitutional rights were violated and he was subsequently executed by a police officer. No, I don't consider that acceptable at all, if indeed that's what's happened. That's about all. Peace out.